Good morning, everybody. I appreciate your time and hope to be useful. I know we have about 20 minutes set aside to chat about this, and maybe some time after for questions as you allow. Today, we're going to talk about CMMC. I'm going to attempt to give you accurate information based on our weekly meetings with the DoD as an assessor organization. The meeting's being recorded, and the slides will be available for you afterwards, as well as some links. So CMMC is the hot thing to talk about on the internet right now. Everybody and their brothers selling consulting services and assessment services and how to fix it and what to do, and selling scary messages about spending six figures. And, there's little kernels of truth in all of these different things that people say, but I'm going to attempt to maybe quiet down some of the hype here and give you something really practical this morning. So M&S Group is a certified third-party assessor for the Cyber AB, which is a nonprofit that the DoD set up to do assessments, think audits like the IRS, of defense contractors to ensure that they're doing the things that are in their contracts. We meet weekly with the Cyber AB and DoD representatives to get updates on where the rule is and what's happening. So I want to start off by talking about what CMMC is not. CMMC is not a requirement that you do anything other than assess yourself or get a third-party assessment every 3 years with your own internal annual review as appropriate in your contract. A lot of the information out there on the internet is confusing people into thinking that CMMC is making you do things. It is actually just an audit or an assessment to ensure that you're doing other things your contract requires. So all it requires, the CMMC rule, is simply that you assess yourself, or if you have sensitive enough information, that you hire a third-party assessor like M&S Group to come in and do an audit or assessment of your compliance with your contract. Many people who don't really understand government rules are out there saying you have to do 320 things for CMMC. Well, you have to do 320 things under DFAR 7012, a different rule that's been around since 2017. And the CMMC rule came about because people were struggling to do those things consistently. And so the government wanted assurance that you were doing the things in your contract under DFAR 7012. So again, CMMC is just an audit rule or an assessment rule where every 3 years we come in and look at what's in your contract and make sure that you're doing what you said you would do in your contract. So let's talk about what you probably said you would do in your contract. Well, timeline, right? So the CMMC rule is going to be out this October. There's some fancy acronyms, and if I spit too many letters and numbers out, feel free to interrupt me and say, Musser, what in the world is that, right? So we have, there's 2 different sets of rules that are going through the rule process together. 32 CFR and 48 CFR are the fancy names we use, but one creates what to do and the other creates the authorization to do it, is kind of the way to think about it. So these 2 things together are going to finalize between October and December. First, the CMMC rule that says, hey, this is what we'll look at, and this is how we'll do it. And that's all embodied in the CMMC assessment guide, which you can download, and it has all the questions that we will ask when we come in to talk to you. And it provides examples of answers you should give. Do not pay somebody $100,000 to write all your answers. The government already gave you example answers. You can go in here and look at them, and I'll give you the links here shortly. And look at this CMMC Level 2 assessment guide. It's going to give you examples of the types of acceptable responses that an assessor will look at. Now, as you're thinking about the things I'm saying, one of the things you should always ask when anybody gets in front of you and says that they have any authority to speak on CMMC is where they get their source of authority. So a couple things for your benefit here. I'm going to paste into the chat all of the links to the DoD websites that back up everything I'm saying, along with the assessment guide I just mentioned. So you don't have to go search the internet. And as well, if you hear any consultant talking about CMMC, remember the DoD website is the final authority. So if I say something or anybody says something that is not on the DoD website, then we're wrong, including me, right? So you always want to validate against the DoD website. So first of all, I have some limits in the chat. So give me a second here. We're gonna paste the first part and then we'll paste the second part for you. And you'll want to save this somewhere, right? Save the chat afterwards. I think we got the first part here. Now listen, I know you're going to want to go and click all these links while I'm talking, so I'm going to give you the second half of the links as we go along.